There's 10 lessons that every single man will eventually come to learn. And some may learn this a lot sooner than others. It might take some others 5 to 10 more years than it would for some other ones. But this is TNO, and I'm here to teach you these lessons. You don't learn these lessons usually from school, from books at times, you usually do it from experience. And the strange thing is that almost every man learns the same ones, just at different times. Here's 10 of them, though, for you. Number one, nobody is coming to save you. And I've reiterated this so many times in my videos because it's probably the most important one. And you think it might sit with you and really start to marinate, but until you really understand it, it's going to keep coming back to haunt you. At some point, you realize something uncomfortable. Nobody's going to suddenly fix your life. Nobody's going to come out of the blue and magically change everything for you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss, not luck, but you. You're responsible for the direction of your life. And strangely enough, once you accept that, things start to become way clearer than before. Number two, discipline is more reliable than motivation. Motivation feels very powerful, but it is very temporary. Discipline is what shows up when you don't feel like doing anything, and over time, discipline quietly builds things motivation never could. Strength, money, reputation, all good things that you want to accumulate over the years of your life. Number three, most people are focused on their own lives. When you're younger, you tend to worry about what people think a lot, how you look, what people say about you, to you, or, behind your back, how you're perceived basically by everybody around. And that can be it can weigh a lot on you when you're younger. But eventually you come to realize that most people are too busy worrying about themselves to really analyze you and what you have going on. And the realization gives you this piece of freedom that you never thought you could really obtain. And then you, from that point on, can go on to do amazing things without feeling like somebody's breathing down your neck. Number four, comfort can quietly ruin you. And comfort feels safe, but too much comfort removes urgency. Because when everything feels easy and predictable, growth begins to slow down. And men usually grow the most during periods of insane pressure and not comfort. People are molded into the best versions of themselves when they're under extreme stress, extreme comfort. So the more you have on your plate, the harder things may seem, right? But the better you're becoming over time, the better you're becoming over, the things that you're doing, and you become way better at them. And then in the future, it won't seem as bad. But being comfortable is not the way to go about things. Number five, time moves way faster than you think. When you're young, a year feels very long, right? Then suddenly you look back and 5 years have passed quickly, faster than you even think. You're just like, whoa, hold on, let me slow down a little bit. Opportunities tend to close off. People tend to move on. Circumstances tend to change. And time is the one resource that you never get back. So when you're making decisions, really try to factor in how much time is this going to take? Is this really worth my time? Things like that to kind of keep you level headed and keep you on the same track that you really want to be on, the same path you want to be on. Number six, money doesn't solve character. Money can improve your life. Yes, we all know this. Money is very nice, but it doesn't fix your habits. If someone is impulsive, insecure, or even irresponsible with their money, you know, money will just amplify it. Money will just amplify who you already are. I've made a video on this too. Wealth reveals people more than it changes them. So if you're really that type of person to be irresponsible and not really take care of things when you need to, if you just had let's say you won the lottery, if you did, you just be the same irresponsible person because you don't know how to handle that yet. You don't know what it takes to really have that much money and what to do with it. Than if you were to slowly grind out and gain it over time, over hard work. Number 7, your reputation quietly builds over time. Every action contributes to how people see you, whether that's online, whether that's in person, whether that's over text, whatever. Every action contributes to how people see you. So how you handle pressure, how reliable you are, how you treat people, it all adds up over time. You don't build a reputation overnight, but once you have one, it follows you everywhere you go, every single place you go. Number 8, attention is your most valuable asset. And I just made a video on how attention is one of the most important things nowadays. Your focus determines what grows in your life, right? So if your attention is scattered constantly, your progress will be too, all over the place. So learning to control where your attention goes is one of the most powerful skills you can develop, and one of the most powerful skills that you can manifest into making your life way better. So, number 9, you become what you do repeatedly. People often think that identity comes first, who they identify as comes first for them. But identity is really just built through behavior. It's built through what you're already doing. So if you train consistently, you'll become disciplined, and that just becomes second nature to you. If you work on your craft daily, you become very skilled at whatever you do. Maybe you're a plumber. Maybe you're an electrician. Maybe you like to paint. Maybe you do what you're doing, whatever. You become very skilled at it because it's the repetition of it, what you're doing repeatedly. Repetition will shape your entire character of your life. I want you to remember that. Number 10, peace becomes more valuable than status. When you're younger, status feels very important. The recognition, people seeing you doing well, impressing people, looking successful. But over time, most men realize something, that peace is more valuable than validation. Being calm, in certain situations, being stable, being free from the constant chaos of what is life. That's the real success that you want to aim for, that you want to strive for. And you might not think about that right now, but eventually you might see it that way. And maybe you don't see it that way, but it is more valuable to be at peace with your life. I truly believe that. But these lessons don't all arrive at one time. They kind of appear gradually. So usually after mistakes, failures, or uncomfortable realizations. But once you see them clearly, you start to make decisions a lot differently. And that's when life starts to move in a better direction for you. Thank you for listening, though. It's TNO.